Hello, hello. Welcome to the Imperfect Podcast, the podcast where we bring amazing guests to talk about their imperfections. Hello, Tammy.
Hi, hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good evening for me,
Yes, yeah, good evening. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
It's
So what time in
there it's
California?
9:20. It's like 9:20, 9:15 in the morning on Saturday. Yes.
So,
What time is where are you? Yeah.
you have one day more than me because it's 6:20 in Paris, 6 p.m. So you are ahead, you are before me. So you still have more time to enjoy
Yes.
the weekend.
Yes. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. To relaxing. Yeah.
Tammy, I'm so excited to have you. I'm sure we're going to talk about a lot of exciting stuff today. And I like to start my questions with a very tricky one, you know,
Okay.
to put things in perspective and make things really imperfect since the beginning. So first, thank you for your trust and being part of this podcast. And second,
Yeah.
please, in your words and in your way, can you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is exciting. My name is Tammy Byrnes, and I live in Northern California. I currently work as a healer. I do use cards and do prana therapy, and I guess I consider myself a channel. And I've been doing this now for 11 years. And so, but eager to step more into more what's possible this year. And I feel like being on this podcast is maybe a first step towards creating something new for myself. So thank you for having me.
Wow, amazing. I hope and I feel it's going to be the start of something, Tammy. But you know what? I have a bad news for you. We're going to shift. And in spite of recording an episode, I'm going to ask you to do some cards for me. I want to know 2026, what is
Yeah,
going to happen to me.
sure, I can definitely.
You will do it later.
Okay.
Uh, by the way, I was in Morocco end of last year, and I want to show you and everybody that I did this bracelet in which I wrote the Imperfect Podcast. I don't think we see it very well. I don't
Oh,
think, but
yeah.
the
Mm-mm.
first episode where I'm branded today. So yeah,
Okay,
Tammy, it's
good.
amazing. So Tammy,
Yes.
you're a healer, but you're also imperfect, no? Are you perfect? Are you healed of all your traumas and things? And can we talk about something, in fact, today? Or no, there's
Yeah.
no imperfections?
Yeah. No, absolutely. I feel that because of my imperfections or wounds, I can be a better healer, right? Because we can relate to people. I, I don't know. For me, I've always been like, I've had not a rough life, but I've had my experiences. And anytime anything really like bad happens to me, or if I go through something bad, I guess, I always am like, okay, that's good because that helps me help others. So I'm always not open because that's like calling it forward, but I look at my wounds as more of like wisdom, and versus being a victim, I guess. Because in the past, I used to be like, oh my God, I'm such a victim. And now I'm like, oh no, this is so empowering, and so I look at myself as like, okay, where can my wounds help someone else, or where my imperfections can help someone else. So that's where I kind of come from. That's how I operate.
This is beautiful what you're saying, Tammy, and it resonates a lot with me because it reminds me of my own experience. I think I started trying to help others when I realized that pain is a blessing.
Yeah.
When I really experienced very painful experiences, I realized that I have the choice either to uh, take this pain and cry and lament, or take this pain and transform it into something positive and a learning. And I
Yeah.
remember at that time I started the luck coach. I called myself the luck coach, and my job was to help people become lucky. And my definition of luck was, what do we do with how do we react to external circumstances that are out of our control, you know
Hmm. Hmm.
and this is exactly what you're talking about. So, Tammy, Tell
Yes.
me more about the biggest imperfection you're experimenting in these moments.
Mm-hmm. It makes I get super emotional. It's funny because I excuse me. I was thinking, okay, what are we going to talk about, right? Like, what is, for me right now, what I'm dealing with is like being the perfect mom, and with my kids gone, it's like, I'm thinking, was I the perfect mom? And I get really hard on myself thinking, oh, I should have done this that way, when the kids are younger, or I should have done the X, Y, and Z. And now I still find myself almost, I mean, I know I'm a good mom, but there's parts of me still that are like, oh, I could be better, or oh my God, did I say this the right way? It's interesting that I've been feeling this way since the holidays, and the kids now are older. I'm just like, whoa, it's just interesting. And it's very pressing on me, I guess is the right word. So, but I'm like, well, there's no perfect mom. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm a human being, and I'm doing the best, even though you always want to do the best you can for your children, but it's like, okay, so you don't feel you were good 10 years ago. Well, then be good today, So, but that's what I've been dealing with the past like couple weeks, is this whole idea of being the perfect mom all the time with the kids, and, you know, perfect Christmas, and, all that stuff. So it's been a little rough because I overthink things, and instead of just allowing, it's like I, I don't know how to edit. I don't know if that's the right word, but does that make sense? Yeah. So that's what I've been
It's,
dealing with right now.
it makes so much sense, Tammy. And I think when we have kids, it all boils down to this question because our kids are our legacy in life, and we
Yeah.
want to be perfect. And we know all the impact of our parents on us, we are aware
Yes.
of how our parents impacted our lives and all the programs and all the things that we don't like, in fact. But and so we want to be perfect with our kids. And it's very funny because today I was before this podcast, I was teaching my son, and I read this. And when I teach him, especially the older, I get I'm afraid that he will not succeed. He's very intelligent, but he's a little bit lazy. And so I'm very protective, and I'm very like pushy, and I don't like that.
Okay.
A lot of time we end up fighting over studying, and
Yeah.
so and I feel so imperfect as you do, and then but what I'm doing now is that I'm telling him, like today after we had some arguments, I told him, hey Kamal, my intention for 2026 is to be able to study with you calmly and without fear from my side and from your side also.
Okay.
I'm not perfect, and I'm doing my best, and this kind of stuff. And then he told me, yeah, and me too. I will try to also not be afraid of studying with you. I appreciate what you teach me and how you do it. So we can never be perfect parents. In fact, this is, and I imagine the more they grow up, our kids, the more this this becomes even more important for us because we see
Yeah.
things, no?
Yeah. No, I just, for me, it's when my kids left for college, each of them, I was like, my daughter went, I'm like, oh my God, because they're like flying the nest. So you hope that you taught them everything they needed to be successful humans in the world, right? Like I remember just praying to God, okay, I hope I gave them the tools. And then you have to kind of let go of the control of the idea that you can still control what they do and all. Like that was huge for me. And then you let go, and then you're like, okay. And then you see what they do, how they act, and you're like, okay, that's good. And then, but there's still this whole idea of like, well, I still have to be this great parent for them at this age. You know what? It's just, like it keeps going but it's at some point for me, it's like, Tammy, you've got to just trust and let go. And that's where I'm at right now is just trying to breathe through it. You know what I mean? It's weird. And they're older. It's kind of funny. So it doesn't necessarily really end. I thought by now I'd be like, I'd have this under control. And it's like, no, it's just kind of not getting worse, but you just have no control anymore. So it's the control of the control, I guess. But anyway, so that's for me, I'm just like, okay, I gotta take a breath and recognize that also too, it's like my quote unquote shortcomings as a parent does them well too, because you can't, you know what I mean? Like my, what I would perceive as like, okay, maybe not good advice or maybe I did see myself being like my parents or something that I didn't like, whatever. It still is actually good for them, right? In the long run, in a way, too, because it's all about learning and understanding again that we're all just human. So, yeah, but yeah, that's where I'm at. Just, it's rough. It's rough.
I
This is
got
rough.
you.
Huh?
I got you. So you used the word control maybe 10 times. So let's dig deeper there. What is control
Okay.
for you?
Control for me is like making sure that everyone is okay. Like making sure that and I don't even have control over it, but I feel I do. So for me, it's just making sure that my family is okay, my children are okay, you know, and because that's how you keep it together, right? If on some level, when you have kids, I had 3 kids, very close in age, so you had to have control over the situation, otherwise things go crazy, right? So, but um, yeah, control, just making sure they're okay, and I feel I can control that.
I guess Tammy, especially like I feel the same, you know. I feel control at work, control with the family, control, in fact, controlling, and it could control becomes even bigger than control making sure that everybody is okay, but controlling like the weather, controlling the circumstances, controlling everything, and this is where the pain comes from, because we cannot control all these things. And you mentioned trying to let go, and I know that I did my cards a few years ago, and my theme is letting go, and I'm still learning to let go. I still don't know how to let go, you know. I'm learning as we go. But control is I think everybody struggle a little bit with control, wanting to make sure everything and everyone is okay, even when they don't ask us, by the way. Especially when they don't ask
Exactly. Exactly.
us.
Exactly. So true. Yeah. No, it's have you studied the Enneagram with Anaconda, the Enneagram, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm learning that has really affected me and because I was like, oh, that is who I am. It was very interesting to and it still is 'cause I'm still studying. But part of my personality type is I have a 2. I'm connected to 2. So it's like always making sure everyone's okay. Making sure, over my needs, you know what I mean? And oh my God, okay, let me do it. Okay, and it's like, it's the part of me that just I'm learning to kind of wean off that those negative side of that trait, right? So, which is overbearing, maybe crossing line, all this stuff. So I'm learning to create a healthier boundary with my children in now because I tend to kind of take care of them and want to take care of things for them, which aren't necessarily my business to take care of. So um it's that's another thing too, is to just be okay with a boundary, like it's okay. They're grown adults. You know what I mean? Like they're adults. Tammy, you're acting like they're 5, but it's just so I'm trying to wean myself off my children for my own well-being and theirs too. They don't want mama in their business all the time, for God's sakes, right? So, but what's interesting though is now that I'm talking about it is it's a fear. That's a fear based. Like I just realized that. Thank you. So me checking in and wanting to control is a is fear based because I'm right now realizing, well, wait a minute, Tammy, that means that you don't trust your own children to do well. You think that you know better or that that you'll take. And so, wow, that's interesting. That's an aha moment right there is like, wow, that's a fear based, not so much maternal instinct based action there. So thank you for that. That's quite interesting. I just
Yeah,
learned that.
yeah, it's very interesting that you're saying this because, and you will forget it again and you will remember it again, because I thought that I'm courageous. I did bungee jumping. I jumped from the airplane with like, and I did all kind of adventures. And I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. And a few years ago, I realized that behind my anger, because I had some anger issues, was fear, and behind
Mm.
my also when I get frustrated with my kids or whatever at work or whatsoever, there is fear behind it. And what I'm teaching myself now, and I'm teaching also my kids, and sometimes also in discussions with my wife, is not, and sometimes I say to my son, what you're doing now is based on fear. So listen, ask
Mhm.
yourself, why am I doing this? Is it based,
Yeah.
does it come from the heart? Does it come from the essence, or does it come from fear? And sometimes fear is very subtle. It's like
Hmm.
very, very subtle, and so I realized that everybody, and like a lot of my actions in life come from fear. Fear from missing out, fear from not being loved, fear
Oh,
from
yeah.
rejection,
Totally.
fear from
Totally.
failure, fear for not having a meaning to my life. Fear is everywhere, and so being aware of it is amazing. And if I can give you one advice, is whenever you realize that this comes from fear, stop yourself.
Yeah.
Ask yourself this question: does this come from fear or from love or from the
Yeah.
heart? And you will have the
Yeah.
answer. Find it as you find it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. That's the philosophy of A Course in Miracles. Do you know that the book called A Course in Miracles? Do you
yeah,
know
I heard
that
about.
book? Because
I
that,
didn't,
uh,
but I heard about it. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, but that's the philosophy that there's only two emotions, right? Love or fear. Everything else is below that. But it's that philosophy is every day when you find a fearful thought, you turn it to love, like switch it to love. And so I try to do that, obviously, but I still get caught up, and that's fine, tripped up or whatever, right? But yeah, I mean, thank you for saying that and reminding me because it is sometimes not easy to remember that because the mind takes over, right? So, but thank you for saying that because it is like just now talking to you about my kids, I'm like, well, wait a minute, that's fear. Okay, so now I'm like, as we're talking, I can feel it like, oh, it's like such a calm came over me in my heart. Like, no, Tammy, just trust. And it's like, oh, they're gonna be just fine, right? So this has been magical. So thank you, because it's really affecting me physically, my physical form. I could feel it. So it's lovely. But
great.
yeah, but you know, it's a good reminder to get back into the habit of always coming from a place of love, right? So yeah, it's been good.
Which is not easy, but we're all aiming at that. So, Tammy, now that we solved this imperfection, let's talk. Like we spoke about motherhood, we spoke about control, we spoke about fear. What are the moments in your life where you feel that you are pushed to be perfect? Maybe motherhood, but is there any other also areas of your life or roles you play in your life where you feel pressure to be perfect?
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, okay, present day, because my childhood was all about being the perfect child because I came from a tumultuous family, all this stuff. So I'm very familiar with trying to be perfect all the time. And I think now, um, I would have to say being the perfect wife might be the next thing, like the next thing. And because I'm, it's the relationship with my husband is changing because it's just the two of us now. And literally, just like, oh my goodness, it's a little strange and a little scary. And so I'm thinking in my head, like, well, how do I show up now? Because we've always been distracted with the kids, right? So I'm being challenged now in this moment to be the perfect wife and whatever that means. I know, um, yeah, like, oh, do I need to make dinner and do I, this and that? And so that's what I'm being challenged with now is to what's the perfect wife. I struggle internally because I don't really care, but then there's a part of me that does care, so there's this conflict of like, who cares? Don't even go that route, Tammy, but it still kind of lands, it pops in every once in a while and it's not fun. So the rebel in me does the complete opposite. You just, I'll leave the house a mess or yeah, I don't know. It's kind of funny. It's just funny.
Uh, it got when you said the rebel in me. Can you repeat, please?
Yeah. Yeah. No, the rebel inside of me is like, no, you're not being a perfect wife. Like, what are you talking, whatever. What does that even mean? Right. So I'll do the opposite of whatever I think a perfect wife is. But it's funny too because I come from a Latin background. My mom is Mexican and very Latin. I was raised very Latin. So the husband worked and the wife did everything, whether I worked or not. You did the laundry, all those roles. Very, I would say old fashioned because, but for me, that's how I was raised. So there's a part of me that does have this guilt of like, oh my God, I didn't make dinner for him. And, oh my goodness, do I have his tea and this? And I'm like, no, it's okay. It's okay if I don't. I don't know why I'm laughing because it's like, well, it's just, it's okay. So, but it's now that we're alone, it's more prevalent. It's more in my face of, okay, how are you going to show up now? So,
So, Tammy, there are a lot of topics here. There is guilt that is very interesting. There is the rebel in you that I would love to connect to because I feel she's really interesting and I would love to know more about her. But I have a question for you.
okay.
Did you ask him what he expects, or did you talk with him about what is a perfect relationship or what is a perfect husband or a perfect mom in the setup that you have today? I'm asking you this because a lot of times I feel the same with my wife where she's doing something because she thinks that this is the perfect wife. And then I'm like, I never asked you for that. What I needed is this. And I'm telling you, I want this. And sometimes you don't even listen to me because you are occupied in being the perfect wife in how you perceive it and not how I perceive it. So,
Right. No, you know what? It's interesting. No, I've never asked my husband like what he considered would be a perfect relationship or, I mean, we have talked about our relationship now. This is like a couple months ago before like, oh, what are we gonna do when the kids are gone? So, and my husband always says we gotta just hang out. And I'm thinking, well, he's talking about because we have such different interests. We get along great, just great. But I'm a musician. I play bass and I'm in a band, and he does sports and pickleball and all. So I'm like, so it's just kind of funny. Like, so now we just have to learn. We have to learn to be together now. But I haven't to answer your question. No, I've not asked. Okay, what is his ideal? But although I do know he wants to spend time together, but so I'm like, well, what does that mean? Because we're so independent of each other that so it's just kind of funny because I'm like, well, wait, what? So, and I don't even think he knows what that means because we always do everything kind of separate. So, but it works for us. But now it's like, okay, what's in store for us? But no, sorry to answer the question. No, I've not asked him. So,
Tammy, to close this topic, I believe that there's no right or wrong answer. You can
okay,
continue living the same way you were living before. And you can also, if both of you are interested, you can put an intention to find a common activity. You start with one activity. I was thinking of dance because dance, it's at the same time sporty and artistic. But maybe he will not agree with me. But yeah, like, and there is no right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
This is what I sometimes, when I speak to my wife, I always also remind us there is no perfect couple or perfect relationship, and there are so
Yes.
many different versions, and we tend to judge
Hmm.
sometimes, yeah, this relationship, whether they're doing this or they're doing that, but we don't know what's happening inside, and
Yeah.
it's not easy, and I think that couples or marriage today in 2025 is not anymore an institution that is very successful, because the world in which we live is filled with temptation, with options, with possibilities, with change.
Yeah.
So everybody is coping in his way, and there's no one solution fits it all. So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
But Tammy,
Yes.
now I want to talk to the rebellious one.
Oh, sure.
Tell me more
She's
about
real
her.
already. It's just funny. I don't, for me, I like going against the grain. I like to question authority. I don't like to follow the rules. Like but although I'm a rule follower, I was when I was younger and because I had to. But now I'm like, I don't, excuse my language, like I don't give a damn about things. And it's there's just there's a part of me, I know it's because it's my new life where I'm at, no kids. Like I feel this part of me coming out that's like, I'm not gonna go by the rules anymore. I want to step out of my comfort zone of who I've been to see what else there is. Adventure. I want adventure. I want, oh, who cares if there's dishes in who cares if there's no food in the refrigerator? It's almost like this, I'm done being that maternal, the mom role of taking care of, laundry, grocery shopping, dinner. It's done. And now this is exciting and I don't want to follow the rules anymore. I don't want to, nothing. I want to break free of any restriction that I've put on myself or what I feel, because it's all how I take things, right? But I'm just ready to explore and expand and have fun and yeah, see what happens. It's alive. I can feel it. But
Wow, I can feel it too. I can see it also.
yeah, yeah. See, I get
Uh,
all like lit up, like yeah.
It's amazing. This version of you is so imperfect. We can talk about her for hours.
Hours,
She's
hours and
just feeling
hours.
all the perfection. So this is one of the ways today you are trying to cope with or react to this world in which we live, which is a world where we are pressured to be perfect. We are taught to be perfect. Everything around us, when you go, for example, on social media, we see everybody is perfect, and but we don't know what's happening behind the doors. What, in your case, are the things that you do to keep to stay sane in this perfection obsessed world?
And then the morning with, from HC. So that's been actually quite helpful because um it keeps me in the morning, it starts my day very grounded. So but throughout the day or when you see things on the internet and because I'm very like I like to see what other people are doing or whatever, right? So, but when I get into this mindset of, oh, I'm not enough, like they have so much more than I do, I just come back to self and just is like, no, Tammy, it's your life is beautiful. Like, it's so for me, it's like being in gratitude, daily gratitude, and taking that breath when I know my mind can kind of get ahead of itself. So, yeah, I would say affirmations for sure, mantras, and gratitude kind of keeps me centered because it can be very overwhelming and I try and teach that to my children to stay centered and not to get overwhelmed. But yeah. And like you said, we never know what's going on behind closed doors ever, right? So on the outside, someone can look like they have the perfect life, and on the inside, it's just a mess, right? So I I know that with my clients, right? Just knowing and learning and just also having experiences through childhood and witnessing other families and knowing like, wow. you never know what goes on behind closed doors. So I always try and teach my children that too, and for myself, just to remember, and nothing is ever as it seems, right? So it's not easy though.
Mm.
Not easy.
No, like totally. And the idea of this podcast came from this because I think I like perfection. And I remember when I was younger and, rehearsing for the interviews, job interviews, I was like, everybody was telling me, if they ask you what's your negative thing, you can talk about the perfection. I'm perfectionist, and the consulting companies will love it because it means that you will work triple and quadruple effort to get them. But then I realized that it was true. I was perfectionist, and last summer when I was I did a podcast course, and the first thing they told me, call a friend, record it on Zoom and just post it. And it's okay
Mm,
if it's imperfect. If you look at all the big podcasters that are going on today, for example, if you go back to the first one, it was so imperfect. And this gave me a lot of it opened something in my mind, and it broke it broke something that things should be perfect. And this is amazing. It's so liberating, Tammy, to feel that it's okay to be imperfect.
yeah.
uh we are all imperfect, and our imperfections make us human and make us who we are.
Yeah.
Teach us.
Yeah. Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, when I had a really hard time. I mean, growing up, I had to be, in my mind, I had to be the perfect child because there was so much chaos in my life, excuse me, that you just knew that was a defense mechanism, right? It was to protect yourself, right? And it lasted all the way through until my early adulthood. And I just remember thinking, "Well, no, this doesn't work anymore, right? It just is not even, it sucks because you're gonna fail every time thinking that you're perfect because there's no perfection, right? So, and it's boring. And I was just so and now, like, so in my early 20s, I'm like, I'm breaking free of this boring pattern, and now here, and it's like I still see parts of it, and I'm like, I'm done being boring because I feel perfection is boring, right? Because there's nothing that is perfect. Like, let's get some personality, I mean, not to say I don't have personality, but I'm just like, enough. I'm breaking free of all of it because it's exhausting. It's exhausting. Exhausting.
Tell me
Yeah.
more about perfection is boring. I like it.
Yeah, because I mean, think about it. Okay, because it's like, well, what does it mean to be perfect, right? And nothing is perfect. But like you're saying, it's perfectly imperfect, and I get a lot of my inspiration from nature because I have a garden and I love planting things and stuff. And it's like they're plants, they're just perfect, even though, I have plants all over my room, but it, you learn through nature, I think for me, just like, wow, it's just perfect. There aren't straight lines. There's no straight line in nature. And so that is very telling. Like, I don't know if that's making sense, but it just perfect is just boring because our edge and our fire comes from that imperfect piece of us. You know what I'm trying to say? It makes us all unique, and like that's that fire, right? It's like, is that a Rumi quote? Like the light comes through the wound or something, something about the light, and you're right, the crack or the wound or something, right? But yeah, I've just learned through personal experience that perfection is boring because then it's boring. Like, okay, the perfect outfit. Okay, yeah, but okay, I have a stain on my shirt or something. Oh, okay, and then it's actually more perfect. You know what I'm trying to say? But so yeah, I've just have to really work on myself with that because I am a perfectionist and it's boring. It's boring as hell because whatever. Give it a break, like that. That's how I get. Like, give it a break, Tammy. Enough.
Tammy, what did you have to let go of to become the version of yourself today?
Um, that's a good question. I had to let go of feeling the need or I had to let go of the narrative of what I thought would be my life. Like, when you're young, you have an idea of like, okay, this is what my life is going to look like. And by this age, I'm going to have all this stuff, whatever. And that is how my life worked out by any means. And I mean, like, shock, like I remember thinking, what? What happened? Because I had all these other plans, quote unquote plans, but letting go of what I thought I wanted my life to be and recognizing that how it is probably even better than what I thought I wanted. Does that make sense? Like, I have a
Wow.
great life and yeah, and I can't complain. And it's like, wow, no, it's perfect. Because too, I don't know. So I had an idea of what my life was going to be like, and then certain things didn't turn out. Okay, fine. But then, so if I could look at it as like, oh, I failed, right? Like, oh, I'm a failure, or oh, I'm a loser, whatever. I haven't achieved anything, and But then I have to say, wait a minute. Well, I know that I'm a good person and I make good choices, so I have to trust in my soul to bring me to this place of where I'm at, and be like, okay, then it's great. Then there is no failure. Then there is no disappointment. I mean, I can be disappointed, but then it's like, well, wait a minute. Then that is telling myself I'm not grateful for what I have in this moment. So, yeah, just learning to let go of what I thought was going to happen and just looking at my reality and being okay. I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I never in my life, just as just an example, never in my life thought I'd be in a band ever, ever. I'm 55 years old and I'm in this rock band. And now, if you would have told me 10 years ago, Tammy, you're going to be in a band, I'd be like, what? Wait, I play bass? So it's that kind of stuff. Like, no, this is great. It's great. It's exciting. So letting go of the narrative is what I guess is the
I
answer.
love it. I love it. And I want to hear you playing music.
Okay.
And Tammy,
Okay.
what would you say to someone who's struggling with control, with trying to be a perfect mom, perfection, guilt? What would you tell them?
Good question. I would tell them to always in the moment pause, like just to pause and maybe take a moment and like take a breath and put their hand on their heart and just be like, I'm okay. I'm okay in this moment. I am good in this moment. Because we can only create from the moment, right? We can only create from the present, right? To create the next moment. So I always try and tell my clients and my children, just be in the moment because you know, that's the only place to be. And if you're in the moment and you're like, okay, I'm good right now. Maybe my circumstances don't appear to be good, but am I healthy? Am I good? Am I breathing? I try and tell people that, like, just pause for a moment and just take a breath and be like, no, I'm okay. I'm good. Because we are, right? Yeah. Even though we have struggles and there's upset mind control, our minds go crazy. If we take a moment and pause and say, I'm okay. It's going to be okay. Then I think that would work. I mean, I wish I could tell that to my old self, right? When I was running with the kids and crazy and, whatever. And just be like, Tammy, it's okay. you know, that would have helped me a lot, I think, in certain circumstances. But yeah, that's what I would tell someone. It's just take a moment.
Amazing. I'm gonna use this technique. I like it.
Okay.
Tammy,
Yeah.
there is always this crazy question at the end of the podcast.
Okay.
And I'm gonna ask it not to Tammy, I'm gonna ask it to the rebellious one. Can you
Okay.
please tell us something that nobody knows about you or very few people?
Um, okay, something okay, very peaceful. Yes, okay, this is the first thing that comes to me is I believe in aliens.
We'll start another debate for 3 hours. Tell me more.
Yeah, I mean, that's funny, but that's the first thing that came to me is I don't tell a lot of people that because they would think I'm nuts. Okay, a couple things. One, when I was about 15, I think it was like 15, me and my sister were coming home from like the movies or something one night. And we get out of the car and a voice told me, Timmy, look up. So I look up and it's clear, clear night and you can see the stars. Then I'm looking, I'm like, okay, what am I looking for? Right. Then all of a sudden I could see this massive, massive black mass moving very slowly and with no noise. And I'm like, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? So I remember I would like look at a star. I'm like, okay, look at the star, just don't move your eyes. And I could see this thing go over, so you couldn't see the star anymore, and then pass. And I'm like, oh my God, is that a UFO? And the answer was yes. So I'm like, oh, okay. So whatever. And then cut to being in the spiritual healer school with Tom and her. There is, I don't know if there is a moment where we did this meditation and they opened the portal and then, there's an act where you touch your face and then like you can, if you have your eyes closed, the aliens come in and then they touch your face. And I swear to God, I'm like, yeah, okay, I don't know. And then I was doing it. I'm like, oh my goodness, you could actually feel the difference in energies. I don't tell a lot of people that story, but I just told, and that is, yeah, that's probably the first thing I would say. Yeah, is that. So I'm a true believer of alien intelligence and all, of course, but a lot of people don't, so.
Thank you, Tammy, for this trust. Talking about trust, and thank you for this amazing episode. Before we
Yeah.
finish it, I'm gonna maybe go quickly through the things that we talked about. So, Tammy, uh, the imperfection that you are struggling with in this moment is around being a perfect mom or wanting to take care of everyone and controlling and making sure that everybody is okay. And while we were talking, you realized that this comes from a fear that you have and not from love. And you said to yourself, from now on, I will ask myself, whenever I'm inclined to do this, does it come from fear or does it come from love? And what would
Yeah.
be the love version from this, what I'm feeling, experimenting now? You spoke also about a second imperfection or struggle you are having now is what is it to be a perfect wife? Your
Mhm.
kids just left home and you are left alone with your husband and you have different point of interest and you are asking yourself, what is it to be a perfect wife? And you promised me that you will ask this question to your husband because it
Yes.
might be also interesting to have his point of view on this topic.
Right.
We spoke also about the
Yes.
guilt that you feel. We spoke about the rebellious part in you that is playing music and don't want to give a damn about being perfect in anything and all this. We spoke also about the morning sadhana that you do to ground you in the moment, to make you go through this world obsessed with perfection in a more serene way. We spoke also about you letting go of the narrative of what you were
Yeah.
expecting your life to be and accept and embrace the life that you have that is much better, let's say, much more real and authentic. And we spoke also about how you would advise people who are going through difficult moments in being in the moment because everything starts in the moment and taking a
Yeah.
breath, connecting to the heart and being in the moment because everything starts in this moment. And finally, we knew something crazy about you, which is that you believe in aliens.
Yes, that's
Thank you, Jan.
right. Thank
Thanks.
you. Thank
It
you.
was amazing to have you, and I hope we'll have more occasions to have this conversation. Probably when I will have 1 million followers on this podcast. So if
Okay.
you, I guess,
Yeah.
uh, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's lovely. It was a lovely time.
Great, thank you, Tammy.
Okay. Thank you.
You guys, please, if you watch this video and if you like it, comment, share, like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can watch us on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Podcast, and we have our Instagram page, Imperfect Podcast. Thank you so
I
much
love it.
and stay tuned.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Ciao. You can stay.